Welcome back to OVN. If you haven't checked out my video, I did a full audible style YouTube reading of the state of the game, or the TWAB. I'm sure this is probably going to fill in for the TWAB here on a Thursday, but some huge changes. Starting with probably the biggest complaint outside of PvP is sunsetting. And I've always had a kind of a lukewarm feeling when it came to sunsetting. I like new weapons and I like to use new weapons, and the problem was my older weapons were usually better than the newer weapons. Some of the mods and some of the tricks that the new guns had just, weren't powerful enough or didn't fit my play style, so some of the new weapons I just kind of pushed aside. That's changed here in the new season. Some of the rocket launchers, some of the submachine guns, some of the hand cannons, the bottom dollars kind of been a hot commodity here as of late. And some of the D1 weapons coming back, like the Swarm and the Palindrome, have kind of injected a new feeling that made sunsetting feel less bad. That's just for me, though. I mean, if you pull up Twitter and hit sunsetting Destiny 2 as keyword options, some of you might have just blocked those words because, to be quite frank, it's kind of been beaten to the ground. But yet, sunsetting was a problem for a majority of the players. So I do understand the frustration here. So here's the deal with sunsetting. So any gun that you have currently in Destiny that can be raised to the power cap level, which is 1300, 1310 when it comes to the pinnacle rewards, from here on out, those guns are yours to keep forever, unless Bungie changes their mind down the road. So sunsetting has been taken care of. Hopefully this appeases the masses and we can move on from the whole idea of sunsetting and the negative aspects that it had on the community. Next up, power cap. So people were kind of frustrated that the power cap grind every season felt monotonous. You're running and doing the same things over and over again just to get those blues, and then trying to time out your powerfuls with your pinnacles to try to hit that power cap as quick as possible. Well, they're going to do away with non-major release power cap levels. They're only going to do it to 10. So, for example, if you are at 1310 power with pinnacles after this season, the next season you will be at the soft cap, and you'll only be working on pinnacles from here on out. So that extra 10 that we get from pinnacles will be your main goal. It's never bothered me. I kind of like it the way it was, but I totally understand the monotony and the repetitive nature that it felt like we were going through every season. So I get it. Seemed to be important to the community, so Bungie has addressed it. PvP changes. So let's start with the stasis changes. So they're really nerfing Behemoth, which was probably one of the more glaring issues, especially in Trials of Osiris. Everyone's running stasis, and the Behemoth super just lasts forever. You can kill somebody on a small map. You can kill somebody on one end of the map. That Titan super can last all the way to the other side of the map, and you can kill the same player. Now, of course, that's not an issue with Trials of Osiris, considering it's more of an elimination style. But man, in sixes, you could do that. You could cover, you could traverse the whole map and kill the same person with the same super. So that was a big deal. They've kind of nerfed the Hunter and Warlock supers as well. You can check out my video. I have it time-stamped where I go through each individual bullet point in that state of the game, and you can see the exact changes. But that's the main thing there. They address cheating. So the programs that people pay for to cheat in PvP, especially Trials of Osiris, are always ahead of the game. That technology is always developing, and any anti-cheat that a company can come up with, these companies have such a financial incentive to beat those ways to shut down and even ban some of these players. The technology is just usually faster. So they can't get into what they're doing internally, because that'll just give the companies that run these cheat mods a playbook. So they can't do it. And I understand that, and everyone keeps crying for anti-cheat, but Are there any games where cheating isn't prevalent, that isn't intrusive on my computer? Some of the best anti-cheats out there want full access to my PC, and I'm really not comfortable with a company having full access to my PC. So Bungie's doing what they can, and my friends who are great at PvP and Trials of Osiris run into cheaters and ruin their 7th Street cards, and man, it's horrible, and I just don't know what Bungie can do to combat that type of cheating. So anyway, that's probably a whole nother video. Trials changes. So they're going to try to get solo players and give people better incentives to come in and play Trials of Osiris, giving better incentives for 3-win cards and 5-win cards, and not just make it an all or nothing, because a lot of people are, you know, wiping their cards out after a loss, after 2 wins or 1 win, and it's bottlenecking that first match. So the better players that are wiping that 1, 2, or 3-win card to get back to try to get flawless, especially some of the Recov account people, it's really making some of those first games just sweaty. And not that Trials shouldn't be sweaty, but it is what it is. They're going to try to make 3-and-win 5 cards much more desirable. So, and one of the biggest things is they're going to try to get solo players into Trials of Osiris. Now, it's worked well in the competitive side. I went and did, especially some of the weapons where you had to go into competitive to acquire. I went in and solo matched, and my KD's better in competitive than it is in the non-competitive playlists like Control, and I had a good time with it. Let me assure you, you're going to get some bad teammates here and there, but if those 3-win and 5-win incentives are good enough, I can see that solo playlist getting a lot of traction. So I've been wanting that forever. And sure, matchmaking within a competitive mode could leave people going AFK. Communication could be an issue, but to be quite honest with you, it's worked well for me in the competitive scene where they already have solo matchmaking. So I think this is a really good change. I'm looking forward to it. I'll actually play Trials and get some tokens and maybe get that 3 or 5-win card. Not looking that flawless is a possibility at all, but a good change nonetheless. Next, transmog. So 801's coming back. We're going to have some currency where we can go in and take anything within our collections and be able to transmog it. They're actually going to give us some currency right up front, so we can take maybe our favorite pieces right off the bat and hop in and make transmog an instant reality. So that's pretty cool. And the last thing they went over is crossplay. And the biggest complaint from the community, or the biggest concern I should say, is console players and PC players having an advantage on one end or the other. Some PC players are saying, hey, all these console players are going to have aim assist with controller. It's already happening on the PC side anyway with controller, and I use an Xbox Elite controller. I'm an old gamer, so keyboard and mouse I never really adapted to. But the main thing is, when you're playing PvP, you will only play PC players as console players if you join one of your friends who's on PC. So if you're not the host and you hop into Jack, Jim, or Jill's fire team and they're on PC, you'll be playing against PC players. So that's where the crossplay thing is. A lot of people thought that'd be a switch to toggle saying opt in or opt out. That's not the case. You will only be playing against PC players if you join a fire team that is PC. So that's pretty much the state of the game. There's some other little things here and there, some release dates and all that, but I wanted to give an overview for people who didn't want to watch my 20-minute video. I do encourage you to go do that, especially if you don't like to read. You can go back and I have it timestamped. So just look in the description. You can see where the timestamps are and go through and see what strikes your fancy. Well, that'll do it. There's your wrap up for the state of the game. A like and a subscription would be very much appreciated, and we will catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching.